The Northern Territory's two lower house seats could both be in play at this election. Matt Cunningham is live in Darwin in the seat of Solomon. Matt, there's a couple of big issues swirling around there in the Northern Territory. And we saw a bit of a trend in the recent NT election. Can that be kind of replicated, or territory issues, and federal issues?
Well, Labor will be hoping it's not replicated. Luke Solomon holds the seat of Solomon with a margin of 8.4%, but the Coalition certainly believes that they're a chance to win this seat, and it's for that very reason that you're just talking about. At the Northern Territory election last year, there were massive swings against the incumbent Labor government. In fact, Labor lost every single seat they held in Darwin and Palmerston. That's the area that covers the seat of Solomon, and basically it was because of one issue in particular, and that was crime. Now, there are other issues, of course, in a federal election. A lot of people I've been speaking to have been talking about the cost of living. That's obviously an issue across the country, but the issue of crime, I think, is still resonating with voters here. So the Country Liberal Party will be keen to make that an ongoing issue in a federal election campaign, even though it's traditionally a state and territory issue. They've pre-selected a police officer in Lisa Bayliss, someone who's worked in the police force for 3 decades, as their candidate. They're clearly keen to keep hammering home that point. Here's a bit of what the voters had to say when I spoke to them on the streets of Darwin this morning.
Cost of living, that's probably it.
Any idea who you're going to vote for?
Yep, Phil Scott.
Yeah, cost of living. Right.
Any idea who you're going to vote for?
Yeah. Liberals.
I don't know. How about just having a government that actually governs and actually solves a problem, rather than just moving it forward and trying to keep themselves in jobs for the next 4 years?
The welfare of the people, the street people. You know, every other city in Australia has got somewhere where you can go and sleep for free. Up here, you got nothing.
Do something about the cost of living. It's a little bit out of control. Probably the whole issue with America and the relationships that we have with them.
Interesting to hear one of those voters saying she plans to vote for Phil Scott. He is a Climate 200-backed independent who's running in the seat of Solomon at this election. That is an interesting development, Laura, because if you look at the Northern Territory election, Labor bled a lot of votes to the right, to the CLP, but also bled votes to the left. We saw the first Green MP elected to the Northern Territory Parliament, and another community-based independent also elected. So the introduction of a Teal candidate in this race could be interesting. He might not win, but he may well decide who does. Another interesting issue to watch during this campaign will be the debate about the Port of Darwin. We've seen Luke Gosling really get on the front foot and try to make that an issue. He says there'll be more to say on this issue, so it'll be interesting to see whether we see some kind of announcement around that lease of the Port of Darwin to a Chinese company for 99 years, something that happened under a former Country Liberal Party government here. Will be interesting to see if we see an announcement around the port during this election campaign.
Thank you, Matt. We'll be talking to you a lot. We'll see you over the next 5 weeks.